It's going live. Welcome to another live. This is our Navigating Through Life After High School live event presented by the Center for Disability Leadership and the Center for Family Involvement at Virginia Commonwealth University's Partnership for People with Disabilities. I'm your moderator, Erin Croyle. We're joined by Inclusion Project leaders Reeve Thomas, Janai Santiago, Kim Drudge, Matthew Shapiro, and our fearless Center for Disability Leadership leader, Jack Brandt. We're talking about transitioning from high school into the real world. I'm going to be posting everyone's bios into the comment section so you can learn more about each of us. And you can post your questions and comments in the comment section. And I will be sharing those as we go along. We want you to engage. We want you to be a part of this. If by chance you see this after the live and you see a recording of it, please go ahead and message us in Messenger or reach out to whomever you see on this panel. Now, we're going to explore the wishes, hopes, and dreams of young people with disabilities. These youth leaders you see today are going to share what they learned after interviewing more than 70 of their peers about their experiences, including that question we still ask ourselves, even in our 40s, 50s, and beyond. What do you want to be when you grow up? From their research, these leaders developed 6 graphics to help in the decision-making process. And today we're going to explore feeling overwhelmed and attending college or technical schools. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in and start with getting a little bit of background on what the Inclusion Project is and giving an overview of this specific project. And with that, we're going to turn to Matthew Shapiro and Jack Brandt.
Thanks, Erin. We're so excited to be with everyone again today. We've really enjoyed doing these Facebook Lives to share all this amazing work that we youth have been doing over the last number of years. The Inclusion Project started almost 10 years ago now, if I remember correctly, Jack, when youth from the Virginia I'm Determined projects, or youth from the Virginia I'm Determined project were challenged by then Special Education Director John Eisenberg to come up with a program or a plan or a resource for youth. And through that whole process, our youth had to develop a proposal with the help of Jack and the partnership. They had to pitch the proposal to Mr. Eisenberg and the DOE leadership at the time. And we were fortunate enough to be given a very significant grant to be able to, do these types of activities of the Inclusion Day. And then now what you see today with the infographics that we're going to talk about with you all this afternoon. And so with the support of, the Virginia Department of Education, we've been able to do very much amazing work. And I know, Jack, you wanted to add something to that as well.
Thank you, Matthew.
I've been going to work with this leader.
It's been great to work with these youth leaders.
And I want to share with you what they developed.
And they will share with you what they've developed.
I would like to thank Marianne
I would like to thank Mary Ann Moore, the project officer.
The Virginia Department of Education.
At the Virginia Department of Education.
For
her support of this project. I would also like to thank the principal investigator, Dana Yarborough, for her leadership.
and support this lead.
And for her support of these youth leaders.
And that's it from the
So let's hear from the youth.
Right on, Jack. So exciting. So we're going to go ahead and start off with talking about how you identified these topics for your products. And Matthew, can you explain how the Inclusion Project Steering Committee came up with these ideas?
Yeah, so after we finished the initial Inclusion Day guide and got that into schools and on the interwebs and everywhere we possibly could, we knew that we wanted to continue the work, right? And so, and we knew that we wanted to develop other resources to continue to help young people. And so we, as a steering committee, sat down and sort of talked about, all right, what are the important topics that we still need to address to reach young people? And the topics that we came up with really are the 6 infographics that you know, the handful you're going to see today and the handful that you've seen during other Facebook Lives. You know, it was getting a job, going to school, feeling overwhelmed, which we're going to talk about today. And so that was really distilled down by conversation that the whole steering committee had, what youth on the steering committee at the time thought was valuable lessons to share with other youth. And that's sort of where these topics originated from. So we're very happy to share them with you and hope that you'll definitely use these graphics the ways that we hope you will.
And I am trying to share these now. And as I always tell folks, it's always so wonky trying to share this and do this, and it takes over your screen. So forgive me. But I'm going to flip through a couple of these now. And can you tell me what they're called and how you came up with these products?
Yeah, so as you said, these are the Navigating Through Life sort of infographics. We call them infographics. That's sort of the name we sort of settled on. And as you can see, right, they're beautifully done. They're very pleasing to look at, and there really is no right or wrong way to read them. Right, we really want you to go where your eye takes you and follow them how you see fit. With every topic that we have made. And we hope that, you know, it gives you little tidbits that you can use in many, many settings. And we've tried to also make them as inclusive as possible, seeing lots of imagery of disability on here and seeing lots of different people of different colors, backgrounds, identities, all the above. So we have tried to make these as inclusive as possible. And in addition to that, we have also put them in a number of different formats. So we have a text version. We have these versions that you see on the screen. So anyone and everyone can use these in the many settings that we've talked about.
I'm muted. Thank you, Matt. You know, let's turn to some of our youth leaders now. I want to know why it's so important to have this conversation. Janai, can we start with you?
Yes, of course. I'll say it's because we can make a difference in the public school systems and to move forward of they can have the information to move forward and it's important to advocate for everybody in this community, and it matters to us because it's important to move on with our life, and it's important for our school systems to know. It's important to reach out for resources and find ways to help each other to build the kids up and make them feel special.
Thanks, Janai.
Very
It's,
well.
it's so true. Kim, can you tell us why it's so important to have the conversation? Kim, you're on mute.
I'm sorry. A lot of people with disabilities don't know about college. I run a support group, and their parents and their friends don't talk to them about college. And it's extremely important, not only for them, but for all people of all disabilities to know about college, to know about accommodations, and to know about everything in the adult world that they need to know, everything that needs to be accommodated, and they need to ask on their own. They need to learn how to ask on their own.
You're so right. That advocacy piece is so important, especially when we do it for ourselves. Reeve, what about you? Talk to us about that conversation.
Well, it's a very interesting question, I gotta say. But anyway, if you answer that question for conversation, sure, we just need to think. We need to focus on what's ahead. You know, I like to have goals that makes me successful and confident. I will be successful in my life ahead of me. But I need help. It's important to have these conversations as we grow up. Sometimes I need more of this conversation because I need to focus on what's my transitional life ahead of me. And I need to have a roadmap. And that's what I can work with. I'm also very excited for a new chapter of my life ahead.
Thank you, Reeve. It's exciting time, right? That we're talking about that transition out of high school. It's huge. Jack, Matt touched on this a little bit, but can you tell us more about what versions of these are available?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Erin. So there's a text version? For people who would like to read?
There
are the infographics that you saw earlier. To provide people graphics with graphic support.
Get information that way.
If they like to get information that way.
This image
We have developed image descriptions for each graphic.
We are again point at you when the
And we're going to print a limited number of these sheets.
that are available on the Project Web.
And they're also available on the Inclusion Project website. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. And you know, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. And while I'm asking this question, get that prepped, because you know, feeling overwhelmed is one of the topics that are covered on these infographics. And how timely is that, right? I think everyone's feeling overwhelmed right now. So Reeve, Janai, and Kim, can you talk to us about why it's so important to have these conversations about feeling overwhelmed? And why don't we go ahead and start with Reeve?
All right, so I'll definitely answer this question. Feeling overwhelmed makes me have a lot of emotions. I'm overwhelmed right now because I'm finishing school. I started when I was 2 years old. So this is a big change. One way I'm looking through this transition, if you heard gap years, you need to basically take a year off and find what your interests are before I attend college. It'll be very good for me because I want to explore what I do. For example, I want to think of doing some with music, maybe like music education or sound technology, something in that type of field. But as I finish school, I'm very excited with my working with this inclusion project for their support for me, and I'll give them the support back for showing what we can show kids the inspiration for change, and we make our world so much more very fun of people. It'll be a very good diverse group, and it'll be very special to come.
Thank you, Reeve. Janai, can you talk to us about?
Yes, of course. It is very important to have this conversation to get or make strategies, like different type of strategies, like for the school system, and handy when you are overwhelmed by talking with your team and our teachers as well on what we need to help you with the stress. It is very important to talk and to express, like when we transition from schools and also have the life that we need if we want to go to college, and to have the life in between those doors.
Absolutely. And I feel like these are so important to show teachers in schools, to remind them that your dreams are the same as anybody else's, right?
Yeah, always.
Yeah. Kim, can you tell us how you feel about feeling overwhelmed and the conversations you can have about that?
Yeah, I feel overwhelmed sometimes when most likely if something happens, but sometimes I feel overwhelmed in school when something goes wrong. I sometimes feel overwhelmed because I mostly feel overwhelmed when something goes wrong. But a best way to solve that is just by taking a deep breath. And sometimes when someone else feels overwhelmed, I help them.
That's fantastic. I think there's a lot of that going around these days, helping each other when we're overwhelmed, because we're all overwhelmed right now. Matthew, this is up right now, the feeling overwhelmed. Can you give us some ideas of how to go ahead and read these?
Yes, and I do want to apologize. There's somebody doing lawn work right outside of my office, so if you hear a lawnmower, that's why. But as I kind of said earlier, and apparently I jumped the gun on all these questions, I apologize. But I did. You can read these really however you like, right? You can read them your traditional way, kind of left to right, right to left, whatever. Or the other way that we've set these up is, really go wherever your eye takes you, and look at all of the different sections in each of the in each of the infographics. So there's really no right, wrong, or indifferent way to digest this wonderful information.
Thank you. And that's so true. And I just love, while I transition out of the slides, can someone tell me a little bit about the artist that you got to do these?
Jack, would you like to do that?
Yes.
The artist is one
The is Brittany Curry.
One is graphic presentation.
And Brittany is a graphic facilitator.
She draws a graphic representation of me.
She draws graphic representation of meetings and conferences.
And I
And I met her at a conference.
The great job in the
And the youth did a great job of interviewing 70 of their peers.
I bought this idea to the STEM committee.
And I brought the infographic idea to the steering committee.
And they agree and vote one to do this.
And the youth agreed. And fortunately, Brittany had time and wanted to do this project.
Describe our mess with information
And these graphics are amazing with the information that the youth gathered.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jack. And I just want to take a moment. Anyone who is watching and has a question or a comment, please do chime in. And we have a couple of those now. James Murdoch, who is an advocate and a parent of an adult son with special needs, he says that this is overwhelming when you're in transition from high school to the work field, and then you have to find jobs that are safe for those with disabilities. It's not easy. And these conversations, they're needed to get resources to move forward, which is very true. And then a shout out to Tina from Ramp Inclusion, who's watching, and she posted some information about her organization in the comments as well. So thank you. And again, we're watching, we're looking, and if you have some questions, we'll go ahead and ask them. And in the meantime, our next question, let's talk about why it's so important to have these conversations with youth with disabilities. Janai, can we start with you?
Yes, of course. Like to me, that we can know what to expect for each public schools and with the curriculum, and also same for the transition to come of and for the school board of education, like for example, like for the curriculum, like how do you know they're teaching kids a higher grade math, and to know how kids could learn the process of the math skills that they need. And same for the transition to go into the public school systems and also go to college.
Thanks, Janai. Reeve, how about you?
So I definitely like what Janai said. Going through, math and, school, different types of you need these conversations. I definitely agree with Janai said for sure. But so I can pick up to that. So when we have these conversations, we can help people to have disabilities to plan life after high school. At my high school, there's a program called DARS, and I've heard about their program. I'm not affiliated with it, but I've heard it helps people in the jobs to transition to college. So I think it's a good program in our area that we do. But anyway, we have these conversations important because we need to find, safe resources. And I think it's my life to advocate as an autistic advocate, to be the shoot out for the stars and make sure that, my goal is to communicate with people that are autistic and make sure they feel safe and secure.
Thank you. Kim, how about you? Kim, you're on mute.
Is it okay if you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. Why is it so important to have these conversations with youth with disabilities?
Oh, it's important because not a lot of people with disabilities understand about college or going to trade school. Not a lot of youth's parents talk to people with disabilities about college or trade school. And some people who have people who have all sorts of other abilities go to college. I mean, I run a support group that the kids on there, their parents don't talk to them about college. And I want people with disabilities to know, hey, you can go to college. You can transition into the real world.
That's so right. I have to just interject here as a parent of a 10-year-old who has a disability. It's, the teachers don't have those conversations either. And these materials are so important for us to just share and send to make sure that society in general realizes that it doesn't matter what your ability is. There's a future, there's a life, there's community, there's work. And the more that we, make that the norm, the more that it's going to happen. That's why this work is so exciting. I would love to just have copies of these sheets to just leave at school meetings and doctor's appointments and just maybe a coffee shop, like, hello, everyone belongs in this world, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Regardless of disability or ability.
Exactly. How do you, I just said how I would use the sheets, right? I'd put them everywhere and post them online. So how do you all suggest people use these sheets? Go ahead, Jen.
I would say they're like study guides, guys. Like if you read the autographics, it's like saying like for each school subject and say for transitioning, it could help you to give you a guide of how life works after school, or if you're still in school and you're transitioning. It helps us as advocates of knowing what's important to know, and same with the school boards of knowing how to transition into school. Like if a question for everyone on this Facebook Live, do you think that we should step out of a box or in a box? What do you think? What makes us to have the right to have us with our dreams that we have, and why do you want to put them in a box of being contained? And why do you feel that it's hard for us to understand what the schools is telling us to do, and what's in the other hand, how can the parents, as my mom, to help us to have a plan?
Janai, that is so spot on, right? Step outside the box, everybody. I love it. Reeve, I didn't mean to cut you off. Please go ahead.
No, I gotta say these items are pretty snazzy, awesome. I gotta say, it's an awesome roadmap, and also I'm a visual learner, but there's other people that are analytical, other learning hearing learners, people can't see, visual learners, they can't hear. There's all these aspects, and we can be snazzy cool, and we can just be whoever we want to be and just achieve what we want to do. And these items can lead us to successful items in the future. I think the people that are here listening here, I can help these resources, and they're free. You can go download them today, whatever you want to do.
Spoken like a true salesman. Kim, I'd love to hear what you have to say. You talked about accessibility earlier. What do you have to say about this?
I think that people could use these sheets in all different accessibility formats like Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides. But also, they can use these sheets in whatever format they choose: Braille, pieces of paper, like print paper, Braille paper, and on the computer. Or people can be read to if they choose to have a read aloud accommodation.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just keep picturing, like, you see with the money make it rain, just do the sheets. Matthew, did you want to add?
Yeah, and to add, I think what everyone has said is spot on. But we've also made these, as Janai said, in schools. But we would also hope that people would use these in employment settings, in IEP meetings, in if you're trying to engage with somebody, right? We want these to be used anywhere and everywhere. And I think that's what's great about them is we have made them so that they can be used anywhere and everywhere. So the sky is the limit for sure as to where these can be shared. I love the idea of sharing them in coffee shops and doctor's offices and so many other places. So definitely would encourage people to use them anywhere and everywhere.
Absolutely. And so we have a couple comments. Dawn says, Janai, that was so great. Boxes are for packages, not people. So well done. That's a good quote. And I always have to add to my friend and our colleague, Angela West. She made a really good point a while ago saying, we talk about youth leaders as if there's something different, but we should add, while we're on this conversation, that you all are leaders. We don't really need to add youth on there. You may be young, but you're already leaders. You're leading at a young age, and I think that's important to always point out. Peggy says, hi, Kim. She's proud of you and your advocacy. And then we have a question from Lily. She said, in college, how can I get help with math and English? Does anyone have suggestions there? Janai?
I kind of do. Like, answer for that question. If someone in the school system could help you find different resources, like what helped me in the meanwhile too, is to have a learning specialist to be with you, and they will have some communications there too, and they will help your child. Like if it's math, okay, I know it's really hard. It depends what is the level of your kid is, where your level, like where the level the kids are at, and same for the for the learning specialists. They could help you and your kid to have the resource to, like, if you don't know division, like how can you make it to a point and say, okay, what is 1 divided by 2? Like, if a child don't even know that, we could talk to the learning specialist and help you to have that input of the resource in front of you.
in addition to what Janai said, which was spot on, at any and all, I would say any and all in most colleges, they have learning centers that you can go to get tutoring. You can go to office hours. Many teachers provide office hours, and they have teaching assistants that provide tutoring time. I know when I was in school, now almost 10 years ago, which is hard to believe, I spent many hours with my teaching assistants in my math courses because I struggled with math. But because of that extra work and extra time, I was able to get A's in both of my math classes, which was hard to believe considering I was lucky to get a C when I was in a math class when I was in K-12. So take advantage of all those additional resources that colleges and universities offer, and you can get as much help as you need.
To add on to Matthew,
this office are disability support.
these offices are called disability support.
Accommodation office.
Or accommodation offices
Students.
for students.
You should check with the main resources within your college.
And you might check with those offices because they may know of other resources within your college.
That's fantastic. Lily also said we have to fix the way college tests are administered. And Lily, spot on. We have to fix the way all tests are administered, really. You know, we talk about adaptations and accommodations in IEPs, but, you know, frankly, there should be that for it should just be a given, right? And I want to add a lot of the questions coming in and the comments coming in. So the Center for Disability Leadership and the Center for Family Involvement, we're doing this live now, but we're always here. So you can message us on Facebook. You can find us on the interwebs, if you will. We're always here to answer questions about any and everything, from transitioning to early intervention, to IEPs, to whatever. We're always here, and this is our passion and this is our work, and we love doing it. And speaking of that, I mean, if anyone has anything to add, I want to hear it, but I really want to know from our youth leaders, what it was like to work on this project. And whoever wants to start, Kim, do you want to start? Oh, Kim went. Okay, Janai, you raised your hand. Janai, do you want to start? Oh, Kim's there. Kim raised her hand. Perfect.
I raised my hand. Janai raised her hand. We both raised our hands. Working on the inclusion project is fun, but also a learning experience. You get to learn about other disabilities. You get to meet people. You get to make new friends. You also get to become a leader, and you also get to make mini grants and work and help others around the state.
Excellent. And we are going to have another live talking about just that with the mini grants and some of the other things Inclusion Project is doing. Janai, tell us what it's been like to be a part of this.
I love being a part of this so amazing project. I really love the Inclusion Project because I get to work with different schools and work with Jack and Matthew. It's so awesome to have this opportunity as one of the new student leaders to be a part of. I'm so excited and I'm happy to be a part of it because this has been my dream and become an advocate and help kids to have a better experience in schools and how to transition well.
And how lucky are we to have you?
Thank
Reeve, how
you.
about you? Thank you.
So, I like the word snazzy. I just think this is a snazzy group, and just having fun, having it with other people. It's just been great. When the first day I've heard it from Jack, I was like, okay, what's this? And I got more into this and interview, and then I was like, oh, all right, let's do it. It's like, the easy button, like that was easy. And anyway, it was just awesome just to do anything, just to have fun, and I'm just really excited to help others. This has been really awesome.
And Erin, if I can add, so I've been blessed and fortunate to be one of the youth that has seen the whole thing, right? I was there when we were doing the proposal, and I'm here now. And one of the things that has made me so happy is to see the new youth that we've been able to bring on, and the 3 youth that we've talked to today are our newest youth, right? That are now being engaged with this project, and helping them grow and helping them, continue to do the work that we started, 10 plus years ago. It's just been really fun to think about. They like to call me the grandfather of the group, which I will take that. I will take that moniker and roll with it as long as I can.
So wait, if you're the grandfathers, does that make Jack the godfather?
Yes, it does.
Oh my gosh. I love doing this so much, but I think we need to wrap it up. Does anyone have anything that they want to add?
This is Kim. I just wanted to say thank you so much for this. This was awesome.
It was. Let's do it again. I could talk to you all day. This was a blast. So we're going to stop the live stream, and we're just going to do our recap in private. Thank you everyone for joining us.